Hello, Jean here, Confidence Through Cabaret. I am so excited to be sharing with you this Confidence with Coffee um, uh, kind of insight into our latest podcast episode. So, the podcast is up on Confidence Through Cabaret, anywhere you get your podcasts. If you prefer to watch video, then it's right here under the Vodcast playlist, which you might have already found. Please like and subscribe either here and or on the Vodcast video with Emi Kirschner, who is a leadership, um, uh, in a nutshell, a leadership coach. So Emmy does actually quite a lot of the same kind of things that I do with teams in the UK. So she combines her intuitive abilities with her analytical senses to help entrepreneurs to be able to really kind of be more visionary leaders as opposed to wearing all of the hats, to really kind of understand what leadership is about and help teams to be communicating. And that's what my business attitudes training has done for over 25 years. And I loved this conversation because it was a combination of kind of how Emmy raised her children as a single mom and, really kind of helped her children understand their values and their boundaries, and then applies that same thing in business. And it is the same principles. And if you want to go deeper into things like values or goals or, kind of some of the more business things, check out the work life playlist on this YouTube channel, Confidence Through Cabaret. Also, most of the explanations in the work life are even more developed in the personal life. So I tended to do, talking about values and the importance of values and how to figure out your values under the personal life, and then I applied it to work life and also to stage life. And the same thing with things like goal setting, understanding your goals and personal life and how to set them and what that's about, and then apply them to work life. So you'll find that the personal life and work life uh, playlists work well together. Um, I am all things confidence when I talk about the podcast. So we have had people from all walks of life sharing their confidence stories, sharing their confidence tips, and getting into this arena with Emi Kirschner was so much fun because we got to really kind of talk about, what branding is about. We talked about values. We talked about boundaries. We talked about defining and agreeing terms and outcomes. We talked about long-term vision, and how to set our values. And it was incredible because I have said for a long time, and you'll see this on other videos, that one of my personal values, as well as one of my business values, is play. And I've had countless debates with people about, is play really a value? Should I be talking about joy or happiness or playfulness, maybe those kind of things? But play is absolutely one of the things that centers me in my life. So, we talked a little bit about whether those values shift. For me, they have at different times. So our values, and we typically aim to define kind of 3 to 5 core values in our lives. And you can check out the podcast episode, or you can check out the personal life playlist on YouTube channel. But it's really about kind of narrowing down to what are our core values. And for me, those things can shift. And so by hierarchy, I mean, for example, if honesty and trust or trustworthiness are two of your values, and maybe family is another one of your values, and maybe integrity could fit within honesty or might be separate on its own, depending on how you define those terms. But there's a hierarchy. For example, would you lie for your family? Um, because if not, then your family has a more core value, deeper into the core versus honesty. Other people would say absolutely, because honesty is the most important. And I was using the example when I'm talking to Emmy in this podcast around um, my values shifting from around honesty and having to be honest with myself during COVID, where I needed to be introverted, which I don't prefer as an energy. If you've been around for a while, you know that I draw energy from being with others. And um, so having that honesty and having to face my own feelings and my own experiences and be really real with them in order to release them and in order to do some more deeper shadow work for myself, then I needed to have that as my focus and have play a little bit less because my opportunities for play felt like they were cut off. Now, in order to get back to my natural core values, play being a very strong one, then and legacy being a very strong one, which is how Confidence Through Cabaret started because I decided I wanted to share all of my skills, knowledge, and experience from business, from my family, and my personal life, and to be able to share that to uplift confidence for with a community, for personal life, work life, and stage life. So for me, in order for that play and that legacy to be able to shine through, I needed to put at the forefront of the center being honest with myself and really kind of working through a lot of the things that I had been hiding from myself, most especially how do I feel. So I excuse me, sorry, my throat is gone. I just have a little bit of coffee here. This is confidence with coffee, right? So, mm. But yeah, so I needed to dig into that, being really real with myself about what I'd experienced, how I felt, where, how am I, how am I defining my own life now? Who am I? How do I feel? Those questions can be pretty deep, and so I needed to work through that in order to get back to my play and in order to find my way of leaving a legacy. And so for me, that shifted. And then once I had done that work, then my play started to uprise again and started to take over with more importance. And even I would say, um, even perhaps more important for most of the time is my need to leave a legacy and to be able to help uplift others or help them find ways to uplift themselves, more importantly. So Emmy and I talked about a lot of different things, and I kind of played with what kind of clip I wanted to look at. um and of course I right away wanted to go to the play clip and talk about play being unstructured, play being just throwing glitter, or play being moving and skipping and hopping and singing and doing unstructured things. Um and so I decided against that because it's very predictable and I always go to the play things. And I really wanted for you to get the essence of this podcast. And so Emmy talks about 5 key strategies that she uses in her business, which I think are valuable for every business. If you have a business or you work in a business, then these are very key strategies. But also, if you have a family or are part of a family of whatever definition that is. And so let's have a listen to Emmy as she kind of summarizes the 5 key strategies.
We've kind of talked about all of them. One of them
Yeah.
is the like get really clear about what your core values are. The other one is give your people a lot of independence and mentorship. Um, I'm going to blank now. Um, everybody does the same stuff. Like everybody takes the trash out. Like that's really important for me, right? And then really getting clear about your core values, and listening and getting input from your people. So one of the things I did with my kids and I do it with my team is I ask for their ideas. What are your suggestions? And I am surprised every single time when I'm in coaching calls and the CEO is like, well, what do you think I should do about blah, blah, blah? I'm like, well, did you ask your executive team? And they're like, oh. I'm like, I bet you they'll give you some great answers.
Yeah. So knowing our values, so important, and really kind of leaning into defining what those values are, and then having our independence and being able to make our own decisions for ourselves and have our boundaries as well. And where everyone is a mentor and everyone has mentorship. So in other words, kind of looking for the value that each is adding, and the expectation and anticipation that we each share a mentorship, that everyone helps, that there's input. Oh, there goes my alarm. Let me just do that. Perfectly imperfect. Here we go. And that not only is everybody giving input, because I've worked with many teams where there's a lot of input being given and no one's listening. And then suddenly the penny drops 20 minutes later and somebody says, "It's a great idea." And then the person who 20 minutes earlier made that suggestion goes, "Yeah, I mentioned that. And then no wonder people end up feeling unvalued and unheard and unimportant. And so really listening, like hearing what people are saying, pausing, considering, and then responding. I mean, by definition, that is assertiveness, right? Is that everyone has the needs, wants, feelings, rights, um, and and that means that each of us have that. So I express something, I share something, you reflect on it so that it's considered and heard, and then you respond, and I consider and hear. And then review being the fifth one. And I think, a lot of times we don't review. So that can lead to imposter syndrome if we're not celebrating our successes or recognizing what we're doing well. And we have a negativity bias that can sometimes cause us to not do that. But reviewing and recapping on what or how things worked that were effective, that produced the intended result or better, and even sometimes that's just like the effort that we made to achieve things, and then also reviewing about not to lay blame or to find fault, but reviewing to kind of find out where improvements are required and or can be made. Even if it's gone wonderfully well, where can we, what should we continue, and what should we change, in future, or adapt or tweak in future. So I love that. It's really wonderful to be so aligned with somebody like Emmy, because I see that application within my own family, within my own personal life, and within my business, as well as helping businesses to be able to do that, or solopreneurs to be able to do that. So everybody talks about this, you know. Like, here's how we do things, like, just do the simple tasks, like, just create an event, uh and do a, I don't know, maybe a live webinar. That's what I'm working on right now. And then you kind of go, cool, but I don't know how to do that. And if I have a little bit of imposter syndrome, so I'm not inclined to maybe ask for help or accept help, or I'm a perfectionist and it has to be exactly right, then I'm never going to get it done, right? It's going to lead to procrastination. And so we all have a little bit of that in us. But it is so, so, so important that we recognize our own personal values and that we lead our life by them. And if you're a business person, that you establish your values for your business. And if you're an employee of someone else's business, that your values personally are aligned with the business values. Because if they're not aligned, then you won't find that you're comfortable or feeling valued in that environment, because people are working towards different values and therefore, have different directions to you. So, thank you for sharing this space with me for 12 or 13 minutes. I am running regular imposter syndrome webinars. I'm also running regular body confidence webinars, because I believe that willpower alone is not enough. We have to get in behind and change some of the beliefs. We have to understand, what's going on. And if we are programming, we get to reprogram. And so I'm helping businesses, I'm helping solopreneurs, I'm helping individuals to be able to really embrace where you are right now, whether that's in body confidence, loving your body now, even if you want to make changes, or, if imposter syndrome is kicking off because you've just returned to work or you've started a new job or whatever that is, to really kind of get underneath the skin and start to understand what are the guiding beliefs going on there, and are they supportive of you achieving your desired and deserved results. So leave a comment here. I am Heather Jean on all of the socials, including on LinkedIn. You'll also find it under attitudes training if you're looking on LinkedIn, but you'll find all of the links below here. All of Confidence Through Cabaret socials are Confidence Through Cabaret on Facebook, on Instagram, on everywhere, except for Twitter, where we are at YBYWYS. And I am on Clubhouse at Heather YBYWYS. And those 6 little letters stand for, it is
your body. You get to decide what you do, how you put yourself out there, where your boundaries are. It is your world, and you get to decide how you want to live your life. And it is your stage. Take up space, own it, enjoy it, raise your voice, raise some hell, share your message, and enjoy. Thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.